Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Kevin the Tech Ninja, and 3 years ago, I made a video about switching to iOS after being on Android for over 10 years. I worked for Android websites, I was in the community, and then I decided to make a switch. Since so much time has passed, I decided to watch the video again and see if my original assessments and my dreams and hopes and all the things that I talked about in that video are still accurate. So to be a cliche YouTuber, I am going to react to my original video. Now what the iPhone does for me, it gives me a super smooth experience in everything I do. Yeah, I know Android is more powerful and it also has different types of apps that the iPhone will never have. Things involving cryptocurrency, programming, and other niche things. So I will say the iPhone is still incredibly smooth, but it's not the fastest phone out there. I mean, the Samsung phones that have been coming out the last couple of years are indeed faster than the iPhone. But I will say iOS has opened up the App Store a little bit where there's more applications available for iOS than were before. When I made that video, there wasn't any type of cryptocurrency applications available. And now there's plenty of them. All the wallets that I want to use, I can get on iOS. So that's not a problem there. And a lot of apps I'm finding that are more on the creative side are on Apple compared to them being available on Android. There's very specific apps that are iOS only that I use every single day. For the most part, I use very common apps, things that you'll find on Android and iOS. And the way I am, I believe in getting the best tool for the way I work. Majority of my apps are on both platforms, but there are a few key apps that are not on both platforms. And I sort of got adjusted to using those apps. So it'll be kind of hard to look for an alternative or just not have that app at all. That will be a struggle for me. The 10 series iPhone is the first iPhone to me that is on par with Android as far as performance and also some of the specs. So in that video, I was referencing the iPhone 10 and I said that is the first iPhone that I feel that was on par with Android. So I will say the tides have shifted a little bit. I do prefer the iPhone over most phones. But when we talk about the iPhone 13 Pro Max versus the Galaxy S22 Ultra, I do prefer the Galaxy. So it really depends on the phone, but it's not so definitive as I thought it was when I originally made this video. I thought every Android phone was kicking the iPhones, but in a lot of the categories, it actually was. But I will say since the iPhone 12 came out, Apple has definitely stepped it up a ton. The camera is great. It's not as good as the Pixel, but it's good enough to get the shot that I'm looking for. If I'm on vacation, I can grab my iPhone or grab a Pixel, and I'm very satisfied with the images. So yeah, I didn't talk about Samsung too much in this clip right here. I talked about the iPhone and the Pixel, and I do feel that the Pixel still takes the best images, but it doesn't have the flexibility like the zoom lenses and all those things. It is very a basic camera. They did add different focal lengths, but it's still a basic camera. It's not a ton of different modes. I do like Samsung's camera a lot, and I think Samsung does a great job with a lot of the photos and different modes and especially video too. And I will say the iPhone is on par with the S22 series, although I do find that the iPhone does take better pictures, well, I guess faster pictures in lower light situations, which does come into play a lot when you're going to restaurants or you're going out with family, you're not in perfect lighting. So yeah. I feel somewhat the same. Also, iMessage is amazing. I wish Hangouts would just copy what iMessage is doing. I love iMessage, and conversation just turns into like a chatting service. If you use Hangouts before, you know when you send a video, it takes 20 to 30 minutes sometimes to process a video, even though Google owns YouTube, so processing should be better. It's not like that on iMessage. The videos come by really fast. It's just a better chatting service, and it makes me upset because Hangouts should be this good. Yeah, it's funny how I was talking about messaging in this video, talking about how great iMessage is. And you know what? I still feel the same way. There's so many great things about iMessage, just having the apps built into it, all the plugins and being able to send money on Apple. All those things are really great. Android is starting to figure out RCS, or they're kind of have a workaround. It's sort of coming around, but iMessage has been stable for such a long time. And, you know, having those iMessage group chats is really nice. And, you know, people say, why don't you tell people to use WhatsApp or tell people to do Signal or Telegram? It's like, this is baked into the phone. I don't have to tell people to do this, right? So iMessage is a big thing, and that is locking in a lot of people from leaving iOS because they have iMessage group chats with their whole family, and you can't just ruin the group chat, I guess. And another thing that obviously I think Apple's doing on purpose when sending video messages back and forth on iMessage, I mean, they come in 4K HDR, like they come in the way they're shot. compared to if Android sends you a video, it looks like Zerbruta footage. Smash that like button for that historical reference, Zerbruta footage. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Now, battery life has been pretty good to me, but I do feel that some of the newer Android phones has better battery life. The Note 9, for example, I get about a day and a half, whereas the iPhone XS Max, at around 10 o'clock at night, I'm at about 10%. Yeah, so I will say the iPhone 13 is definitely the battery champ. And if you go iPhone 13 Pro Max, I mean, that right there is probably the best battery on the major flagship phones that are out. S22 Ultra is up there as well, but I do find that Apple, as far as when the screen is off, it doesn't use as much battery as like an Android device for whatever reason. A lot has changed since the iPhone 10 when it comes to battery life. Man, that's not like a big deal, but when you don't have fast charging out of the box with the iPhone, then you find yourself hugging a wall. Versus if you have like a OnePlus 6 or you have something with quick charge, you get a much faster charge. But yeah, I mean, charging is still really slow on iPhone. It is faster than it was before, but it's not up there with any of the major flagships. I do like MagSafe, even though it's only 15 watts, but I'd say MagSafe is very convenient, and I pretty much MagSafe my phone 100% of the time. I still feel as though I'm in a walled garden. For example, in Twitter, if I click on a YouTube video, it launches it in Twitter to view it. Then for me to get into the proper YouTube app, I need to then click on Safari. And then once I'm in Safari, I need to click on the YouTube button to actually go into YouTube. And then it's also weird when you go to an app from another app, there's like this little persistent back button that takes you back to the old app. I think that's just weird to me. Yeah, so there's still some quirkiness in iOS. It does have that walled garden feel. Although you can do picture-in-picture now, which is definitely nice in some applications, you still feel tied in. And it does that awkward thing when you click a link, it doesn't launch the app all the way. It requires a couple different taps, or you need to have a third-party app to, you guys know what I mean. It's kind of like you have to play around with it to get it to just click a link in Twitter and just take me to YouTube. Don't take me to a web and all those things. So yeah, that's still there 3 years later when I'm on Android. And I realize I can click a link and it just launches the app, or I can set the app default right then and there. That is definitely nice. And that's something that I wish iOS would have. Also, there's no real organization on the home screen. I hate seeing pages of icons. It's frustrating. There's no way to just press a button, as far as I know, and just sort them. And you can put them in folders, but that becomes tedious. There's no way to auto-organize things into folders. But I would love to be able to hide icons, not have them on the home screen. Maybe tossing some widgets on the home screen instead of going back to see widgets, and I think that would be a lot better. Also, I would love to have some customization, change the icons, do things that Android lovers been doing forever. I would love a dark mode and just things like that. So yeah, the home screen has had a big adjustment with the latest iOS, but it's still not like Android by any means, but there are widgets. It's not the same feeling to it, but it's starting to get there. You can now hide app icons, and there are actually folders now. Now there's an app library that basically is like an app drawer where you can access all of your apps. So all your apps don't have to be sprawled out on your homepage. I prefer to have a really clean homepage anyways. And you can also change the icons, but it is kind of a workaround hackery method of using the Shortcuts app. And if you change the text message icon and you get a text message, the badge won't pop up. It's not quite the same, but once again, it's a start. It is a shame that it's been 3 years and this is the best implementation we have of changing icons, but it is what it is. One thing specifically is the Apple Watch. I'm gonna get into this a little bit deeper, but I actually have a heart murmur, which actually scares me every time I'm active, every time I'm working out, and it can proactively alert me if something isn't right, if something with my heartbeat isn't going right. And so yeah, I'm a big fan of the Apple Watch. Apple Watch has significantly gotten better over time. What I like about this watch is, I talked about the health aspect, and that's still a big thing for me. It integrates right to my Peloton bike, so when I'm doing my workout, I have it right here on the wrist. It keeps me in my Strive score, my heart rate zones, and all those things are right here on the watch. It tracks it on here for me too, which is nice. But also, like, my favorite golf apps are on iOS only. Overall, the Apple Watch is just the best smartwatch available. Even though I don't like the squared off design, I'd rather have a circle design like Moto made. But at the same time, Android Wear is really lacking, and it doesn't have that same oomph, that same emphasis. And then you have Samsung, which runs Tizen, which works best on Samsung devices. So it's just one of those things that Apple Watch is still the leader when it comes to wearables. So I definitely did have some concerns switching over to iPhone. Now, I did have a MacBook and I did have an iPad and, you know, things like that. So switching over to iPhone just made things a whole lot easier. I wouldn't say everything just worked. It did take some time, and it actually did take me diving more into the ecosystem to truly enjoy it. I was using my iPhone like an Android. I was really sticking to a lot of my Google apps, and you know, little by little, I sort of started to let the reins go a little bit. I got the AirPods. Now, when I do use an Android phone like S22 Ultra, I mean, I like the phone a lot better. I do like the phone way better, but at the same time, we talk about that ecosystem that is very important, and also my workflow on how I work daily as a content creator. I capture a lot of footage on the iPhone and then just airdropping it directly to my Mac makes things a whole lot better. Yes, there's other third-party apps you can do, but nothing beats the simplicity and the speed of AirDrop. And also when it comes to my smart home, HomeKit is like the best smart home platform available. I use SmartThings for so many years, and I switched to HomeKit and everything is better there too. So I'm not saying the iPhone is just like the best phone ever, but for me, as I said 3 years ago, I'm the person that uses the tool for the job. And for my job, having an iPhone just makes a lot more sense. Now, it's been 3 years and I'm sticking around. It does get harder every year as Samsung makes great phones and then OnePlus comes out with another phone. And I do definitely get phone envy, but at the end of the day, it's all about what makes you happy and what is the best product for you. And still, I'm rocking the iPhone. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts. I want to know what yours are. Sound off down below. Kevin the Tech Ninja, take care.